Good morning. I look a little different, don't I? Well, I tried to trim my beard yesterday, and I had the wrong attachment on the thing. So I lost my beard, and then Robin cut my hair. So I'm kind of hair-free today. Almost. Anyway, today we're going to paint a sunrise. I was inspired by a passage from the Bible. Let me find it on here so I can read it to you. It says, from the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord is to be praised. That's from Psalm chapter 113, verse 3. But it's mostly the words that I thought about. And I thought about everybody will say that as an art assignment, a sunrise and a sunset are the same thing. They look the same. Not always. What do you think is different about a sunrise from a sunset? This is a sunrise, and it's not always true. But the difference is that a sunrise will have patches of fog, patches of mist, just this mist, this fog. I can't think of any words but mist and fog, those two words. So I think when painting a sunrise, to differentiate it from a sunset, you have to add mist. And I was thinking about that quote from the Bible, from the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord is to be praised. I'm not a Bible scholar, and I'm not trying to interpret anything, but I was thinking about that in terms of our lives. You know, we begin our lives and we end our lives. We have this beginning and an ending. We all do. And in the beginning of our lives, things are a little fuzzy, right? We don't quite understand things as we're born, and we see the world through misty, foggy eyes, right? And then things become a little more clearer. And at the end of our lives, if we live long enough to have that full circle, and I know many of us don't, but if you do, then you get to this ending, and you have this glorious, similar event to the sunrise, but it's no longer foggy. It's clear. So let's paint this today. Just ignore my attempt to be philosophical. Yeah, I'm not a philosopher. I'm just Poppa painting. Poppa without a beard. Poppa will grow his beard back, I promise. This will happen. I hope. All right, let's do the painting. Okay, good morning. Hope everything's going well with you. If I looked at my paints here, seems like I used a lot of yellow and orange maybe, and I used a lot of green. There's a lot of green in this one that's been used, and blue-green. Let's see if I can use some of the colors I haven't used much. I'm not even sure what some of them are. It's hard to tell. Let's see, this is purple. I know I use purple now and then. Let's see what else I have here. In the purple family, there's red, or kind of like a wine red, right? And over here, well, I've used orange a lot, but yeah, I'm going to use that family of colors. Let me think about this. Well, you already know what I'm doing, don't you? All right, well, let's start with a wet brush that's already got color on it, because I've been dabbling with the colors. I could clean the brush, you know. That's a possibility. Let me just go ahead and scrub all this in. That's the back of the card. We'll just let that be there. It's kind of like, have you ever done spontaneous art? Spontaneous art, we should do that. You want to do that now? Let's do that now. Let's see what we come up with. So what I want to do is, and I want to use those, I want to use the colors, because I noticed in my cards I use a lot of blue and green. So that's kind of where this is coming from. But I want to make sure. So let's just do a simple sunrise or something. Just kind of keep it. So the spontaneous part of this is to kind of let the water do its thing and let the paint do its thing. And then just see what happens. I'm going to keep the middle dark, the middle light. So, I have no idea where I'm going to go with this. But now I see like a sky right there. And let's make some distant things. And then I guess we should let it dry and then do some more defined things. Just go ahead and make some yellow and orange down here. Just kind of make it happen. It's spontaneous, but it's not really spontaneous. One day we'll do a real spontaneous. Spontaneous, what I'm trying to say here is, if we just wet the paper, for example, and then just let the paint flow wherever it wanted to. But I'm controlling it a little bit here, more than I'm claiming to. Only because I don't know. I'm obsessed, I guess. But see, I like the way that looks. I am kind of doing it spontaneously, just adding some purple here. Maybe that'll be some dark clouds up there. Some dark hues down here. Just let that do its thing. Let's just see what happens. So how you guys doing? Yesterday, Rob and I did a little video of the boat basin. Let me explain what that is. There's a place around here where, well, there's a lot of places you can launch your boat. And so there's a couple of rivers here that are really well traveled by boaters and by fishermen, etc. And this one place we went to is called the boat basin, and you can't really swim there, although I have recollections from a much younger time in my life when I would see kids over there jumping in the water and swimming. And the reason it's probably not a good swimming place is because of the alligators. I didn't see any yesterday, but there are alligators. There are alligators in pretty much all the water here. All the water in this part of the world, in Florida. Pretty much that's everywhere. I don't know what that's going to be right there. Yeah, so we went there, and the reason for going there was to show people the place. We have some people who want to see what Ocala looks like. I guess because they've heard about it, or I think maybe it's because the taxes are not so bad here compared to other parts of the country. So people are moving here a lot. There's a lot of building going on here. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Maybe spontaneous wasn't a good idea. Yeah, so we went there, and let me just go ahead and do this. My mind is going two places between the art and telling you about this place we went yesterday. So there were a few paddle boarders there, but there were no real motorboats. Well, we went, what was yesterday? Yesterday was Thursday, so it's not a big day for boaters. You know, if I went on Saturday, maybe. would see a lot of boaters and stuff. But there were some paddleboarders, and usually if you see paddleboarders there, that means they're getting out there. They didn't get in there. They start upstream, and then they let the river flow downstream, and they come back to this area that I'm talking about. And they probably got into the water, I'm guessing, like 5 miles up, and then they float down. The river, I think the river's only 5 miles long, because then it flows into another river. It starts off at a spring, at Silver Springs is what it's called. So a lot of people go there for, it used to be an attraction, it used to be a tourist attraction back before there was a thing called Disney World. Yeah, that did a lot. They changed everything in this part of the state. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to make this look very watercolory. Let me use the watercolor to kind of do its thing. Let's just get some watercolor looking stuff here. Yeah, I think a light watercolor, kind of just let it do its thing, and then we'll build in some of the paint in some of the darker, more defined areas. I think that's the way to do this. So it's kind of a spontaneous painting today. So anyway, yeah, so when Walt Disney built Disney World, do you know, the more I read about this guy Walt Disney, the more I really like him. He really wanted to bring joy to people. I really truly think so. Now I know it's a large corporate thing now, and people have the things they want to say about it, but I'm not talking about the corporation. I'm talking about the man who just wanted to bring something that would give kids something fun. And everybody, not just kids. I think he was kind of focused on children. I mean, cartoons, right? That's what he made his fortune with, was cartoons. But he needed to make a living. If you look at his, there was a biography I was watching, and he needed to make money. We all do, and so you can't blame him for trying to do something to make money. But I really think in his heart of hearts, he wanted to make money doing something that was for kids. I mean, he referenced his theme park as the happiest place in the world, and he always tried to emulate the things. He must have had a good childhood, I'm guessing, because he always wanted to show what life was like for him as a child, right? He wanted that kind of legacy, I guess you would say. All right, look at that, what looks like a mess right now. That looks like a mess, but I want to take that mess, I want to make it into something. But I gotta wait until it dries. I think I can't do anything until it dries. But there is a little bit of spontaneous stuff happening here. A little bit. So we're going to see what we can do with that. Make it look like we're looking at the sun rising through a field of mountains or something. A landscape of mountains. That's pretty wet. So what I'm going to do is turn off the camera and dry it with my dryer. So I'll be right back. Okay, it's dry. Just in case you've never seen it before, I use this to dry it. It's called the Pro Heater Heat Tool. There it is, sorry. It's really not made for drying watercolor. I think a hair dryer would be better, but this is actually made for shrink wrapping. So we don't do any shrink wrapping anymore, but back in the days when we used to make cassettes for children, music cassettes. All right, so now we have this big mess here of it's almost dry. It's not completely dry, I guess. But it's just a big mess. I'm gonna try to use some of this red to create like a mountain here. I can always darken it. But I'm kind of trying to define something over here. I want to use some of the red because I've not really used red a whole lot in these paintings. Let me get some distance stuff here. Let me use some of this orange. A little bit here. I'll add some darkness to this one. I want to make that light right there. Let the watercolor lighten it. So before I turned off the camera, I was talking about Disney, and if you think about some of the other people who've done work for children, like Sherry Lewis comes to mind. Sherry, not Jerry. Sherry. Did I say Jerry? Anyway, do you remember Sherry Lewis? She had the puppet named Lamb Chop. That was when I was a kid. But I truly think that people like them, like they really wanted to do something to bring joy into the world. I know that they made money. I think Bob Ross was really just trying to bring joy to the world. I think he honestly had this love for what he did and wanted to share it. Probably, I think Bob Ross's paintings are incredible because he did them all in 28 minutes. Isn't that's pretty incredible if you think about that. So, okay, I'm just trying to do this. These like background light colored ones. I think that one should be light, and this one could be a little bit darker. Let that water kind of dry like that. Yeah, now we got a look of a mountain right there, a little distant mountain. Just kind of poke it, just kind of dab it in there. Might need to let that dry now. I think it'd be a good idea to let that dry. Yeah, like that. Let's put in that little hill right there. And we'll go over here and do the same thing on this side. These dark foreground hills. And then some of this area should be light and then dark again. It should go from dark to light as the sun just kind of cascades across an undefined terrain. Yeah, just keep dabbing it together. Little areas here and there. Probably be a good idea to add a little bit of orange in here. And let the water kind of lighten it up a lot. Yeah, I'm kind of doing a pointillism effect here, but it's not really pointillism because it's watercolor and it's just spreading, which is what we want. So we're getting that effect of foreground and distant mountains here. I'm kind of trying to keep it spontaneous. It's almost as if I want the painting to paint itself. There's a passage from the Bible that has to do with sunrises and sunsets. It's one of the Psalms, and I wrote it down, or copied and pasted, I should say, because I was thinking about it with this one. And it says, "From the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord is to be praised." You think about, when you go through life, there's so many distractions, That was from the Psalm is 113, chapter 113, then verse 3. I just looked it up. I am not a Bible scholar, but every once in a while I happen to remember one and thought I would share that one with this. Makes sense with this particular painting. See what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to make some dark areas and then some light areas that come together. Make sure I get some red. So I really wanted there to be a lot of red in this picture. For no reason other than when I was looking through the paintings I've done lately, I didn't feel like I used a whole lot of red. Except in the kite. I did a picture the other day of a child flying a kite. I like that one. I thought that'd be a good Mother's Day card. I didn't do it with that intent, but later on I looked at it and said, well, that's any parent, not just a mother, father, anybody who loves their children would just love to take the child out and go flying a kite. It's like you're showing them something that's really cool and easy to do and cheap. It doesn't cost anything, and you get outside and you get some, some fresh air and all that good stuff. I watched the Jerry Seinfeld movie the other day, the Unfrosted movie. And I love Jerry Seinfeld, but I wasn't crazy about the movie. But I read reviews, and some people loved it, so it might just be me. Sometimes that happens. But I do like him a lot. I think he's brilliant. And you know, to talk about people who are trying to bring joy to the world, that's truly what I think a stand-up comic is doing. I know everybody's trying to make a living, so you can't blame them for that. That's besides the fact. I think if you do something, we were talking yesterday about the contribution of teachers and nurses and all the people who do all these incredible selfless things, and they live their whole lives doing that. They've dedicated their lives to making sure that people have an education, that people have a way to get healthy again if they have health issues, and people who get in trouble with, I don't say with the law, but maybe with lawsuits, that people will try to hurt you with their lawsuits. So we're a crazy world when it comes to that stuff. And so there are lawyers, and there are EMTs, and there are police officers who are out there every day seeing the worst that the world has to offer. So to try to bring a little bit of joy to the world, to their world, to everybody's world, to give something to smile about. But this almost looks like another planet landscape or something. I'm gonna have to lift some of this color. I think I put too much. But I think we're basically accomplishing the idea here. And we're doing a landscape and not using green. Now there's an accomplishment right there. Doing a landscape and not using green. There's a bug on my paper. Did you see that? I had a visitor. A little visitor came to see me. We got so many lizards in this part of Florida. That wasn't a lizard, obviously, but just a little hint that maybe there's some trees. Yeah, some vertical lines always help. Vertical lines, whether they're telephone poles or trees, but vertical lines always help when trying to make a landscape. This is definitely a picture that's painting itself, I guess, with a little help from me. The idea that we see colors, the way we perceive colors, is interesting. Have you ever known a child that insisted on painting the sky red, or the sky, or the grass yellow? Well, grass can be any color. Maybe purple, I don't know. All right, what I want to do, let me take a clean brush. There's a clean brush. Put it in the dirty water. And let's just mess with the sky a little bit. Let's make it a little bit less defined. Get some of those watercolors to spread. Because I want to mess with the sky right now, then I'll mess with the landscape. Because the sky is kind of dry, so I can move the paint around. Get some of those watermarks a little bit less defined. Yeah. And then let's take some of this around the edges and make it lighter, so it's more defined for the, whoa, the brush came apart. There we go. Looks good. Now let's take this part of this hill here and lift some of that paint. So it looks like there's a fog going on over there. Let's do it over here a little bit. Just lift that paint, make it lighter right there. There we go. Let's get some fog down here. And the tint, the tone of the paint will stay in the paper, so it's not going to be completely white. A little bit over here maybe. I'm just trying to create the look of the sun just cascading across some of these rocks, or whatever these are here. There we go. And then I think to finish it, let's put a few more vertical lines here. So we get the feeling that there are some trees in the foreground. Sometimes I like working in such a way that it's impressionistic. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Just the impression of trees, the impression of mountains, the impression of a sun setting or a sun rising. So somebody will get this card and enjoy it, and hopefully it brings something to them. I'm trying to think if I want to do something different with that lit area there. Maybe I could lift a little bit more of that paint. Let's get some of those watermarks up. All right, what do you think? Maybe make some of these vertical lines lighter than darker. Yeah, that looks good. All right, well, there's our sunrise. Sunrise somewhere. Sunrise. All right, I think I'm done. It is what it is, right? Good morning. That's what I'll call it. Good morning. Good morning from the hills. All right, thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.